Welcome everyone back to the Pommy and Oz channel, and we're here with the footy recap of Paper Talk. We're going to be covering all the dodgy decisions, all the things the AFL are doing, the things the media are talking about. So grab yourself a nice comfy chair, put the kettle on, prepare yourself a 2 scoops and a moo, and let's get stuck straight into this week's AFL Paper Talk. Right then, first up, Callahan and St Kilda are coming harder than literally Donald Trump trying to acquire half of Northern Europe. He is said to have turned down 17 million over 10 years. St Kilda threw everything at Finn but the kitchen sink, and the lad said, nah, I like the Giants. Now, fair play to him. That is a lot of money. And loyalty is rare. He's becoming rarer, isn't it? By the minute. The club that drafted you, you stay with them. You could chase dollars, but you stay with the team that looked after you. But let's be real, man. 17 million nicker. He just said no. Like, that's generational money. You could buy Sydney with that. I mean, you could probably afford to buy a 1-bedroom flat if we're on it. But still, it's still quite a lot of cash. The whole saga's got Saints fans pulling their hair out because it just seems to be sauce can't land a big fish. He really needs to go and see Rex Hunt, get on that fishing show and learn how to get the old yabba yabba, doesn't he? But they're back to square one. So TDK, Callahan, they're throwing the money at, dropping the cash like a young rapper in Rebs on a Friday night. And let's not forget, Callahan is only a baby himself, so that was a massive decision, a big mature one with a lot of footy ahead. The Giants have done well to acquire him, I think. But you've got to wonder, who's next on the St Kilda hit list? They are going through it like Hitman in the PlayStation 2 game, aren't they? But I've got to say, 17 million. I'd probably move. But what do you reckon? Right call by Callahan? Just missed out on the deal of a lifetime? Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Up next, Mark Rasciuto, firing shots at the Brownlow system. And he's saying umpires need to read the stats before making their decisions on their 3-2-1. And I've got to say, I like a stat. He might have a point. Patrick Cripps last year, 45 votes, and loads of fans reckon he's just the umpire's pet and he didn't deserve them. But if real data comes into it, Cripps did stand out a lot when Carlton lose and win. But there's got to be 100 things to focus on that you need to change in the AFL as opposed to moving the Brownlow vote. I'm not going to pretend that dodgy votes don't happen. How many times does 3 votes go to a midfielder when a forward has kicked 6? It happens a lot. But I also understand the Brownlow for what it is. It's like your nana's blanket. You can get a weighted blanket from Kmart for cheaper, but your nana knitted that. There's blood, sweat and tears into it. There is something quite romantic about the Brownlow. I would like to see the MVP get a little bit more, the Players Association Award, because I do think in the heart of hearts, that one has more real life value to a player. But the Brownlow has the prestige, the history. The kicker is, though, Andrew Dillon, he wants none of it. He said, we trust the umpires, they make good decisions all the time. We're keeping the vote as it is. You can keep spouting your nonsense, Mark, at the pub on a Friday night. We don't care. So it makes a real interesting thing about it. I personally like the Brownlow for what it is, but I do think that the MVP, that carries a bit more weight. What do you guys and girls think? Let me know. Do we need to rechange the structure? Do the umpires need a day to think about it? Do they need vote stats? What do you think? Or do you like the way it is? And the Brownlow's just what it is. It's just something really nice. It's your little nana, isn't it? You know, she's dovery. She's wandering out with a cup of tea. It's safe, isn't it? Let me know what you think. Up next, Carlton's. It's going to open the bandwagon, isn't it? But Jagger Smith, heartbreaking for the young kid. He's done his ACL and he misses the 2025 season. The poor lad went down against St Kilda, landing awkwardly. And just like that, the season was over before it began. The kid was Blues' big hope, the great white hope coming again. And he was probably made worse by Tim Clark going out to see here. He's right. But let's understand the ACL test. He did the lap round the oval. He was begging to come back on. It becomes it was a bad word from Tim Clark. He maybe shouldn't have said anything, but just shows how innocuous it was. And ACL seems to be a pandemic at the minute. Every year it feels more young players are getting hurt, struck down before they have a crack of it. And I can't think of a worse time to do an ACL, but having played the first practice game, being 10 days away from making good of your dream, and you're spending the rest of the year in rehab. So before we take the piss and laugh at the situation that this occurred, let's send our love to Jagga. We hope you come back strong. The young Melbourne lad as well, Moritz Wakefield, he got injured as well. So our love goes out to these players. You just don't want it. But there is a silver lining, I think, that with modern rehab, it takes him away from the game. He gets to work on his upper body and get prepared for next year. And we've seen some great cases, haven't we, through the years? Petrarca, he got injured first year. We saw Ashcroft the other year as well. So there is hope. So we're wishing them the best. But it does ask the question, doesn't it? Icon looks nice, but it seems to, I mean, it is concrete based, isn't it, from memory? Which is a very old school way of making a football ground, isn't it? You know, just planting it on a car park. I mean, that's what the Mafia did to Jimmy Hoffa, which at the moment, Carlton probably have the same look as the people that got rid of Jimmy Hoffa. So it's a really interesting one, isn't it? Because is there too much footy? Why do these keep happening to young players? I just think you can't avoid it. And I think that it's just the expectation is probably too high. But ACLs can happen to everyone. So best of luck, Jagger. Let's go on to the funny bit that it made. And the SSP has been extended. And it's a mess every year, isn't it? Because they cut it off right in between practice games. Then the injuries occur. And then clubs have got to wait 6 months to do a relisting. It's absolutely baffling. And the AFL have handled SSP like they always do. Like, you know, literally, oh God, everyone's complaining, let's change our rules. They are such a complicated model. And it started this morning. Evidently, they forgot to tell you that Kieran Strachan is out injured and Adelaide had listed an SSP replacement, but everyone forgot about it, which then opened the doors where the AFL are like, oh, we better open it up for Melbourne and Carlton. So it just feels, doesn't it, that the AFL makes last-minute decisions. And why is the SSP before round one? It makes no sense. Like, for me, I would have the SSP open till the conclusion of round one. Because at that stage of the season, any injury from really when they come back to training to now is really detrimental. And the closer it gets to round one, the more you need it. And it's okay, people who say, but Pommy will ruin State League football and stuff like that. Makes no sense. And the fact that the AFL can just change these rules on a whim says how flimsy the AFL leadership group is. Jai Cully is the beneficiary, delisted by West Coast Eagles. He has been lodged by Melbourne today. Carlton have got some decisions to make. Is it Liam McMahon? He was the last player to be told not. Is it Will White, the midfield forward? Or did Carlton go bold and bring in Dommy Brew, 27 years old, ready to go, is a midfielder, provides them something? Let me know what you think Carlton should do, first of all. But two, let me know about the SSP. Does it make sense to you to have it till round one? Would there be something like that? Is that what you're akin to? Do you think it would be manipulated? And what do you think about the AFL just telling us on a Monday that on Friday they did list Kieran Strachan as injured, but they didn't tell anyone? Bizarre to me. And we finish with fans are raging again because the AFL's new multi-billion, 4.5 billion broadcast deal with Seven and Fox means Victorian and Tasmanians have a blackout on Saturday with free-to-air. That's right, you're going to have to watch all your games on Foxtel KO. You're going to have to pay coin. Now, that would be fine if we were talking about a niche sport. They're using the EPL as a model. Now, the blackout in England is significantly improved, that the blackout allowed local teams and local football for people to go and watch them. That is why they did it. There is 92 professional teams in the UK, and there is over 5,000 football teams in a league system that benefit from that blackout occurring. In the AFL, do you think anyone's doing that other than a money grab? Absolutely not. It is a money grab. And you know what? This annoys me because the local footy is the lifeblood of the game and the fans are the lifeblood from a TV revenue point. And the fact they're putting it behind a paywall, again, we've got media behind paywall. It's money, money, money. We talked about how much it's going to cost. It's costing thousands of dollars to watch a game that no one cares about north of Melbourne, right? Pretty much, do you know what I mean? You've got out west, you've got South Australia, no one else really cares about it. And they are using them as cash cows. And let's be honest, I wouldn't be against this if the content was good. Like, if the content was good. But let's look at pre-season. We had paddleball as our halftime entertainment. That is the level we've got. It is like fraternity parties is our entertainment. It's as if our IQ is that of a tissue. And they're asking for more money, more bleeding dry. And you know what really upsets me is when I was a kid, I go back, I had football, my soccer, as you call it, on TV. I had tennis on TV, free to air. I had rugby. I had cricket. There was inspirations on free to air. We were a poor family. And that got me into playing sport, particularly, obviously, golf. That used to be on TV all the time. These young kids now are expecting not only their parents to pay thousands of dollars for them to participate in the game, thousands more dollars to watch the game, and $1,000 more to go to the game. It's like literally you need an extra job just to give some inspiration and some mental health release. It's ridiculous. And honestly, this multi-billion-dollar broadcast deal is being funded not by extra good content. It's being funded by milking the average man and woman dry. It's a disgrace. Let me know what you think about it, because I think it's time that we went into our sheds, we got our pitchforks, we dusted off the torches, we set them alight, and we marched on AFL House, because I feel like they are taking the P155. Let me know what you think about it. That's a wrap. That's your week's biggest stories. Make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe. Give it a share to your mates. And if you would, do me the solid. Make sure you drop a comment and tell me what you thought of this week's footy news. Because we drop footy banter weekly here. I'm Pommy and us. I'll see you next time. Peace.